Sometimes you wake up in the morning and think, wow, I sure hope there will be a new Ape Escape game announced today. That day will never come, so every morning where this happens is a bad one. Not because you have to go to work, to school, to prison or wherever else you have to go. There's also many reasons why some franchises die, but the most important one is sales. Especially for a company like Sony. If it does not sell enough, you won't get more of it, and from a business perspective it makes sense. But does it make sense to flood the market with spin-off after spin-off? No, it does not. That's what happened with Ape Escape after 3. Some of them also only released in Japan, and the ones that released here were not that great. There is a reason why you barely have people talk about Ape Escape Quest or Ape Escape Move, how I like to call it, since you want to move down a cliff when playing it. And because it's a disgrace that it's just called Ape Escape. It's like how most people stop using the name Adolf for their kids after Hitler. The apes are back because your two hot neighbors are trying to find their grandma again and use the machine she invented that is also a time machine and all that, and now it's your time to catch them again and find Granny and Spectre so everyone can have a happy ending. Who could say no to these two ladies? I wouldn't be able to since I am desperate. Just remember that you shouldn't do good deeds in life in the hope of you getting rewarded in return. You do them to make the world a better place. It's also not your first rodeo of them using you for their own personal gain, judging by how smart they are about it. So we can assume the self-insert main character is really supposed to be a self-insert, mostly for losers like me who enjoy being taken advantage of. Except that I do not like the look of him, especially his nose. You never see his full face, but something about the way he looks irritates me. It's like they tried having a self-insert, but also gave his look a whole bunch of personality that a self-insert shouldn't have. He even talks but without any sound coming out, despite everyone else having a voice. Ape Escape Move is a bit like a snuff movie. You seek it out to see how bad it is, then you start to play or watch it and think, why am I doing this to myself? Don't I have better uses for my time? But once you have started, you want to see it to the end so you can tell people that you always finish what you start and realize you wasted your time and sanity. Not to say it's all bad, there are a few good things about the game actually, unlike those kind of movies I think. So you have to catch the ape since you want to be a hero for the girls, and instead of using a normal controller, you have to use the Move controller, and this is the first time ever that I used it. I still have one sealed who maybe is gonna be worth a lot of money one day. Came with the PS3 SingStar bundle I got back in the day. I didn't buy it myself, but I got it gifted from my parents because Christmas. Otherwise I would have never been able to play this game because this and PlayStation Move Heroes are the only games I ever want to play that support Move. So expect a video about that game too, one day. I am a big fan of the Wii, so I don't even mind waggle controls, and you will also have fun with this if you enjoy shaking things like your butt. Or the salt and pepper sprayer to enjoy some tasty food. Maybe you also shake down people since you're a adept shark. You get 3 main gadgets, the slingshot you use to shoot, the net to catch the monkeys, and also a fan to slap stuff with. I wish I had one like this during summer. I have a normal fan that blows some breezy air into my face, but these make you think, look, I'm like a cute anime girl because every slice of live anime has that episode where the girls sit on the porch, eating watermelons and use these type of fans for some air. It's an on-rails shooter, who could have guessed? There is no way to look around while the game just pushes you forward while you shoot at anything that you want to, with most things not really reacting to it, and I think that's one of the saddest things about the game. Take Alabits on the Wii as an example. You can shoot a lamp, the lamp goes on. You can shoot a TV, the TV turns on. Why not make a can come out of a vending machine if you hit it here? Make a car activate the alarm if you shoot it. There's only a few things that do something when you hit them for fun, like this piece of meat that gives you extra points if you make it spin fast enough. So it has a bit of charm to it, but not enough. Call me nitpicky or whatever, but at least I'm not picky when it comes to food I like to eat. Unless it's Brussels sprouts. Those things make me puke. After a bit, you always get to a somewhat open area to catch apes where you are even allowed to look around with, because apes can come from all directions. If this were a Wii game, you could point to the left or right to look left and right, most likely right. Here you do it with the X or circle button on the Move controller and it did not feel that comfortable. Maybe it's because it was my first time ever using it, but I already have pretty small hands and it was not really comfy to hit those buttons. Because they are small as hell, they are smaller than me. It's fine when there's not much happening on the screen and there's only a bunch of apes, but sometimes things get so hectic with so many apes on the screen that you wish you could just point left and right to move. Also, why is the button on the back of the Move controller called the T button? What does T stand for? On the Wiimote, the B button stands for the back button because it's on the back of the Wiimote, right? Why? What does the T stand for? I don't know. The apes can also attack, and that's a big problem. You don't want to be beaten up by an ape, they will actually kill you. There was this whole debate about 100 men versus 1 gorilla, and I think 100 men would win in the end, but I've seen people that thought they could take on a smaller ape in a 1 versus 1, and let me tell you, you don't want to Google what some apes like chimpanzees can do to humans. They will rip off your face. Luckily not in Ape Escape, they just use guns or other weapons to try that. There's normal apes that will just one-hit you and you catch them by swinging the move controller at the right time, and that works for the most part. You will sometimes wonder how did that not count? And I wouldn't even call it a skill issue, but more the typical issue of a motion game. You think you did it right, but the game thinks no, you did not do it right. And that sucks, but fine. There's always some room for error, but then if you include the apes with weapons, it gets dangerous. Some of them will charge you and stun you for a tiny bit if they hit you, but you can time it perfectly before they attack you, but every time I tried to time it, I barely caught them. But if I widely waggled around, it had a higher chance of catching them. It felt like I was getting punished for trying to be skillful. And some of them have to be caught like this. There's others with weapons, and if you shoot them often enough, they drop their weapon so you can easily catch them when they jump at you, but others will always charge. You can also try to time your slingshot shot and shoot them right in front of you so you can catch them later, but that's almost harder, especially when the game gets really hectic. The first few stages almost bore you with how slow and boring they can be, but the last few stages want to bust your balls. I still only died once though, and yes, you can die, if your bananas run out at the bottom. Every time an ape jumps at you and you can't catch them fast enough, they steal away 5 bananas of them. And you can actually get them back if you shoot them fast enough. But if you run out of them, you are dead. And this one was a skill issue, I would say. There's so many apes on the screen, some of them charging me, others jumping me, others are throwing shit at me, and I got gangbanged by all of these things together and got overwhelmed. For situations like that, you got a trick cut up your sleeve though. The net and also the slingshot have a duper mode you can activate where the net turns into a vacuum cleaner and it will suck in basically any ape it sees. When I was younger, I tried to get sucked off by vacuum cleaner, and instead of sucking in the main ingredient, it actually went for the oranges, and I have to tell you, that was the most intense pain I ever felt. To activate them, you need batteries that you can find in the level and shoot them to obtain them, but you can only store 3 of them, so use them wisely. With the slingshot, you shoot a banana beam, and for the most part, it's useless. The normal slingshot is basically enough to kill everything in time when multiple enemies appear on screen, because we even have a multi-shot that is not very precise, but it can help, rarely. And if enemies come too close, just slap them with the fan. The only times I used the outward banana beam was for these enemies because they get one-shotted. Kinda lame, but hey. If you use your normal stuff on them, they actually take a while. At first it will also hit you back lots because you don't know you have to hit their upper part to counter their arms. You know you can counter projectiles the UFOs shoot at you, but you don't think you can also counter these arms. So mostly you will just use the Ultra Net because it will make your combo and score go up like yourself when you see huge enemy boobs. If you manage to catch apes in a row without them hitting you or you missing them, you get more points each time you catch one. So if you're a high score hunter, you want to keep these batteries to catch like 25 monkeys in a row without breaking a sweat and explode when you see that combo. Every single stage except for the final battle ends with a fake spectre. You would think they would have at least a couple of stages where they go you thought we would do a fake spectre again? Not this time, but no, it's always just a fake at the end except for one time where you fight a big King Kong to catch a fake spectre. At least it's something different even though the game just boils you on how to beat it. Yep, attack the messed up teeth of it, wow. Thanks for telling me. You would think with such a big hint they wouldn't give you even more hints, right? But no, when you counter the stuff it throws at you, it gives you the big circle to show you shoot here. You don't even have to hit the messed up teeth, you just have to hit the mouth in general. Also have to give you a warning for the second to last stage because there's an enemy that shows your eye to a camera. You normally only see it when you calibrate the move controller, but suddenly this huge robot thing shows up with a big screen on it and you will see yourself, and I can show it because I played the game while being naked. This is not even a joke. Maybe trying to play a waggle game during summer wasn't the best idea. So if you ever thought about streaming this game or whatever, then do not do it naked. Or maybe don't do it if you don't show your face because you will leak yourself. Or do it anyways, it's your own life and you are a free soul except for the shackles of work, because how else are you gonna pay the rent? Unless you get the need bugs, or found a rich sugar mommy or daddy. The stages overall are fine but a bit too generic, especially since some are way too similar because they take place in the same area. You got a theme park again like in Ape Escape 1, but 50% of it plays in the haunted house part of it. Why not have you get onto a big roller coaster or something fun like that? Can't forget the classical hot springs level in an Ape Escape game, or levels with dinos, and dinos in snow. There's nothing new to the franchise that we haven't seen before, and it's a bit sad. And if you already rehashed the locations, why not also pick something more fitting? Like the Wild West world of Ape Escape 3, why do we need 3 stages of Chinatown, cut one and put some cowboys in? You got some replayability by trying to get all gold medals and catching all secret apes, but you won't even want to do it. There are no different paths in the levels, it will always be the same level and there's always just 2, one level actually has 3, wow, hidden apes for you to find after just shooting everything. The later stages take like 10 minutes, so when you miss an ape, gotta do it again and again. Unless you use a guide, but what's the point of that? It's not hidden if you use a guide, so you better waste your time in earnest. You might have 100% then, but there is no platinum trophy, so even trophy hunters have no reason to look at this game with their backside. The actual worst thing the game does is turning Spectre uncool. I thought he was cool as fuck as a kid, and he still is. Look at that spiky early 2000s anime hair, that smug cocky grin on his face, and then Ape Escape 3 is like, you know how to turn him even cooler? Put him into a smoking with a dapper bow. Holy shit. This is what real evolution is called. We turned from monkeys to humans just to see the day where we put a suit onto an ape in a video game and think this is the greatest thing ever. Jesus Christ would be proud of us if he saw what we became. But enough about the bad things for a short intermission. Because if there's one good thing you can say about the game, it's the Monkeypedia. One of the most fun thing about any Ape Escape game, because you can read up about the monkeys you have captured. Here you may only get one single sentence, but I think we can forgive them for this since there are so many of them. Obviously with lots of reference to poppy things. Often models also get reused, but that doesn't matter to me. Just look at how many there are, since you capture like 50 apes per stage. Enough about the good things. Another thing that just sucks is the story. Yeah, I know, you don't play Ape Escape for the stories, but they always got that comfy Saturday morning cartoon kind of storyline that is more cheesy than the amount of cheese I can eat since I became lactose intolerant for whatever reason. I wish Jesus would still be alive so he could fix me. Here, all of it is just gone. I didn't smile or giggle a single time, something all the other games manage through their little cutscenes here and there. It plays the story way too straight, even for straight people like me. Granny felt bad for Spectre back in the day since they used to shoot rockets into space with apes on them, and he was one of them, so she tried to get him back and blah blah, and the ending cutscene of the game is playing somewhat melancholic music while everything turned out to be alright in the end, and where is the funny? In a way, this even would have given the game a somewhat satisfying send-off since Spectre now has a granny girlfriend and seems to be happy to be owned by her. But after the credits, there's another scene where the apes talk about Sony and their lost passion. It totally is a conversation about Sony and not me making stuff up to shit talk Sony. Not at all. How the newer Sony moved on to more grand things like super cool mature games, and they're ashamed of their past, and how lame it was that they actually made games for everyone and not just grown-ups. One little Astrobot game does not change that. Maybe it did change their mind though, so we can see more games like it on the PS6 when they finish developing them in 6 years. The apes also just decide to kidnap Spectre, so there could be another Ape Escape again, one day. The day that never came. Would have been a nice way to retire Spectre, since I'm gonna be honest, if we ever get another game, I would be fine with a different boss, even if I would miss him. And having this Spectre be the final version of him would not feel right, but that's how life is. It's like visiting your grandma in the hospital hours before she passed away, and in a way you felt like it was the right thing to do, but seeing her being so weak on the deathbed is also a bit wrong to look at and not really the last ever interaction you wanted with her. But that's my current reality, one that I would not recommend to any Ape Escape fan who never played this before, and also to nobody that never played one before, because you would never want to see the apes again, probably. I guess the girls were also cute, so that's a plus, and the anime cutscenes made me wish there would have been an Ape Escape anime. The CGI anime does not count, even if it's fairly okay. Oh yeah, it also has minigames, but they're, well, not the yellow from the egg, how we like to say in Germany. I can even play the first one because it's co-op only and I don't want to torture my friends with this game. You expected me to make a joke about having no friends, didn't you? The second minigame is Where's Waldo, and that one is pretty fun, but it made me think my move is broken. Regardless of how often I calibrated it, it shook around so much. And no, I don't have Parkinson's. It made me think maybe that's why it was so hard to catch some monkeys. But I don't want to blame the game too much, because what if I just sucked at it, so I look like a loser who says the game is at fault even though it was my fault. And the third minigame is you having to bring the apes over to the other end by ice spraying the enemy projectiles. Or you can also turn the ape into ice to protect them. That's it. The first stage of it was so boring that I didn't even want to check out the second stage. Maybe that one is more fun, but I don't think so. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and will have a good day, a good night, or whatever fits your time zone. I will now go and cry myself to sleep, because we will never get another Ape Escape game, and I do not want to buy the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake just to see my apes again for the first time in 2 generations. I may sound like a pessimist, but I will never actually give up my hopes for another game. If I do, please beat me up. You have my permission to do it. Bye bye.